This morning, we're talking about our hands of hope, the things that we have done in our congregation to reach out to others, starting with at home, touching people in our lives by making telephone calls, sending out cards, just touching one another. We have reached beyond our church family, our community, and we wanted to share with you some of the things that we've been doing. We're going to start it off with Dan Biss, and Dan's going to talk a little bit about some of the renovation projects that we have done through disaster relief.
When I was first asked to speak briefly on BDM, Brother in Disaster Ministries, the question was proposed, what do you get from BDM? That was easy to answer. You get a neat water bottle and a large selection of BDM shirts. Seriously, the best response is provided in the next image. This is taken from a bulletin cover prepared by the denomination. The picture is of BDM volunteers working with residents of Eureka, Missouri, filling sandbags to control flooding. Ted Noble is in the foreground, tying a sandbag shut. BDM had just arrived on site a few hours earlier. This project was staffed by individuals from 6 states, including members of our congregation. While traveling to Eureka, we were informed that flooding was anticipated in the area and our normal work would not be possible. Within hours of arriving on a Sunday afternoon, we were working at sandbagging areas of the community, an effort that continued almost nonstop through Wednesday. By Thursday, a new 500-year flood had exceeded the flood of 16 months earlier by several feet. The opportunity to work with volunteers from a broad cross-section of the community to achieve a common goal of minimizing the flood damage where possible will be an experience I will never forget. Ideally, BDM teams are staffed by 15 volunteers and a project leadership staff. Typically, our congregation can field 6 to 8 individuals. This provides you the opportunity to get to know volunteers from other congregations, either from our own district or anywhere else in the United States. For the past 2 years, Wyomissing has provided teams for the Lumberton, North Carolina project. On our first trip in May of 2018, we worked repairing flood-damaged homes. The fall of 2018 saw the Lumberton area being flooded again. During 2019, 3 trips to the Lumberton BDM project by Wyomissing members supported the rebuilding of the area. BDM provides an opportunity for you to work side by side with members of your congregation, other brethren from across the country, and volunteers of other denominations and background. Your skill level is not important. Just know that whatever you do, you are impacting the lives of other people. Our May trip to Lumberton this year was canceled due to COVID-19. Currently, we are scheduled to support a tornado rebuild project in Ohio during September. Join us. You will have an experience you will never forget in a nice water bottle.
Thank you, Dan. Continuing our talk with some of the renovation projects that we've been doing in North Carolina, we have Fawn Seifrit sharing some of her adventures.
I have been fortunate to be able to participate in 2 disaster relief trips. No special skills are needed. We work together as a team with members from different congregations with one common goal: to help families get closer to moving back into their homes. We do this out of love for others. In 2019, on my second trip, I was part of a group that traveled to South Carolina each day to work on a home that went through flood damage twice. On the 3rd day of our work, we walked into the home to start working and were stopped dead in our tracks. There was a written message on some old drywall from the 16-year-old daughter. The message read as follows: "We have been out of our home for 8 months and we are blessed to have you guys fix us up again. Blessings like you always bring a calming feeling in our lives. Being a sassy yet joyful 16-year-old, my job is to make sure all of the adults are stress-free. I couldn't do much but pray. God answered me and gave me every single one of you. No words can explain how thankful we are." This wonderful family stopped by the house that day and told us they were so thankful we were there, they wanted to feed all of us. They made such a feast for all of us the next day. There were hugs, tears, and my heart overflowed with love. I'm not sure I can fully explain how grateful that family was or how much love I felt from Jesus at that very moment. It is a moment never to be forgotten. If you ever have the opportunity to participate with BDM, your heart will undoubtedly be touched.
Thank you, Fawn. You'll have me in tears and I can't talk. Great. The next sharing is coming from Kim Zintek and Sophia Zintek. They spent, it's mother and daughter, they spent a week in Jamaica working with a medical team. They had no special training. Their gift to these people in Jamaica that were having no medical assistance at all was just to be there to help with organizing the patients that came in. But Kim did a short video for us, and if we can put that on now, Ray, that would be great.
Tech, and I am going to take a few moments to talk to you about an experience that my daughter Sophia and I had last June. We went on a medical mission trip to St. Mary Parish, Jamaica, and we did this through a group called American Caribbean Experience, ACE for short. And we chose to go on a medical mission because Sophie wanted experience in that arena, but ACE works through education, they work through discipleship, and they work through micro enterprise. So regardless of what your skills are or your interests are, there is something for you to do there. The average trip, you may be doing construction, you might be having painting projects, you could be doing farming, you could go to schools and perform activities there, you could volunteer at the local infirmary, lots of different things. And then there's always one day off where you get to go to the beach and do something local and absolutely breathtaking and amazing. Here is a picture of Sophie and I, and this is before one of our trips. And so basically the trips are about $800. That covers all your meals, your transportation to and from the airport, your daily transportation, supplies, and then you're also responsible for your own airfare. You will be staying at Galena Breeze, which is a locally run micro enterprise through ACE, and it is gorgeous. That's the everyday view from where we sat and had all of our meals. So that's nice. And it's air conditioned. There's 24-hour security, saltwater pool, breathtaking views. The food is amazing, and it's all local and all locally sourced. This is a picture of a day when we visited the children's elementary school. This is our team walking up the hill to meet them. They were so excited to see us. Here is a picture of Sophie with her new friends. Fantastic experience. Recommend it to anybody who's interested in traveling. And let me know if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Our next trip will be traveling with Carl down to New Windsor, Maryland, where we're going to package kits to send out to schools. As was mentioned earlier by Sue, hygiene kits. And this is something that we put the kits together. They're sent all over the world. So it's really an international project. Carl?
Good morning. Our trip starts at 5:30 a.m. in the church parking lot. 13 to 15 volunteers all pack into vehicles, and we head to New Windsor, Maryland, to the Brethren Disaster Relief Facility. On the way to the stop, we stop at Cracker Barrel for a hearty breakfast. Yum, yum, it's good. From there, we head to the facility and get there about 9 a.m. or so in the morning. After signing in and receiving instructions, we split into two groups. Those who wish to check health kits, baby kits, and school kits, and layette kits have a place to sit, and one or two guys help to pack the boxes. From there, the remaining group goes to the assembly line. We unpack boxes of pallets that were previously checked, and we pack them into larger boxes, and they get shipped anywhere in the world. We break for lunch when the whistle blows, and we retire to a small room after cleaning up, where Brethren Services volunteers serve us a prepared lunch. And yum again, it's really good food. After lunch, we have a little free time to browse and shop at the Serve outlet, which is across the parking lot. And after lunch, after that free time, then it's back to our duties of checking and packing until about 3 p.m. We clean up again, say our goodbyes, and head for home. But we all stop at the local ice cream parlor and farmer's market and fruit and veggie stand on the way. And why? For the ice cream, of course. Then we really head for home because it's quite a trip. It's a long day and we're all tired, but it's worth every bit of the time. Knowing that our volunteer work that's done that day will help babies, children, and adults all over the world.
Thank you, Carl. And I can vouch that it is a fun day. Been there, done that, and ready to do it again. Our trip in June is canceled for this June, but we'll wait and see as far as October. And as always, as many people as can go along and help, the more boxes we pack, the busier we keep Dan Biss and Glenn Pouts as they're loading the boxes onto the skids. It's a fun day. The next, bringing it closer to home, our next presentation is Vicki Clemens. And Vicki does a lot of volunteering with the New Londonderry home, with the New Londonderry Auxiliary. Vicki, would you like to share with us what you do?
Hello, I'm Vicki Clemens, and I'm the key person. I'm the key person for our church in the Londonderry Village Auxiliary. Londonderry Village Auxiliary is actually the same as the Lebanon Valley Brethren Home Auxiliary, but the name was changed a few years ago. Our church has been active in this auxiliary for decades. Rebecca Markey was a key person, and so was my mother, Lucille Hood. I have been the key person since about 2004. I have served on the board of the auxiliary for over 8 years, and I did 2 of those terms as president. The auxiliary has 4 big fundraisers a year. In the spring, there's a sandwich sale. In the summer is the auction and barbecue. In the fall, a bazaar, and in the winter, a nut sale. And I've been active in all of these. But the auction and barbecue are the main events of the year for most of Londonderry Village. I've been working at the barbecue since 1995. It's always the 4th Saturday in July. The weekend usually starts with an outdoor concert and food on Friday night, and Saturday is the auction with chicken barbecue from Kaufman's Chicken from 11 to 1. Our church has always been asked to provide about 15 dozen snickerdoodles for the barbecue, and thank you to everyone who has helped me bake them over the years. Some of you have also helped to work at the barbecue in the past. Art and Joan Hornberger and Eleanor and Louis Graup regularly attended the barbecue, as Art usually donated to the auction. Karen Redners and others in our congregation have also contributed to the auction, though. I got to know many people in the Northeast District of the Church of the Brethren by being active in the auxiliary. For many years, I worked with Brenda Kunkel's aunt, and we'd always have to go through what our different churches were doing. She'd be very interested because of knowing Brenda. I'm always amazed when I work at this at all the talents and abilities of all the people. When you give of your time and talk with others and you hear how busy they are, then working at events like the barbecue, you realize how blessed we really are. Doing is a part of our Christian faith, and it is important that we do something while we can. The residents at Londonderry Village would also teach you that. Many can tell you of all the years that they've served as volunteers different places. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, this year we are not baking snickerdoodles for the barbecue. Due to the coronavirus, they're going to do all the baking on grounds so that we're not passing as many germs around. The auction also this year will be online. It will last over 2 weeks long. And that will be the extent of the barbecue weekend. So it's really trimmed down. So they don't need volunteers this year either. As a key person for the auxiliary, there are only 4 meetings a year you have to attend. And I am ready to retire from this position. So if anyone is interested in serving, please talk to me. But you do get to know a lot of nice people.
Thank you, Vicki. We didn't have a special presenter for the relief auction, and that's just something that I wanted to mention. And I think we were talking about it the other evening. I think it has been canceled for this year due to the COVID-19 virus. Bringing our volunteers closer to home and the projects that the Wyomissing Church of the Brethren is involved in locally, we're starting to look at our community outreach through our Christmas tree gifts that we have, the scarves, the mittens, the socks, but the trimming of the Christmas tree and the grocery cart. And Barbie's going to give us a little bit of information on that.
Morning, everybody. As you know, we've been advertising for a while for the grocery cart. We continue with our Helping Hands grocery cart for many families in our church and our community. To date, we have provided over 20 families with food and personal items. This is an ongoing outreach, and our church family has been more than generous. Thank you. If supporters prefer, you may make a monetary donation and I will shop to refill the cart as needed. If you have a surplus from your home garden, those foods are welcome too. Please do not donate expired food items. The grocery cart can be found inside the front doors Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. As we continue in these uncertain times, our outreach is a vital lifeline for a lot of families, and the shoppers have been more than grateful for the help they received. Next, on to the Mitten tree. I was just reminded the other day it's only 7 months till Christmas, so start preparing. For the past several years, the Witness team has put up a Mitten Christmas tree in the foyer, asking the congregation for hats, scarves, gloves, socks, and mittens. Our congregation has always been generous with donations. Several organizations and homes have received the Mitten tree items, such as Kobe's, the Children's Home, Berks Leisure Living, the Miller Personal Care Home, and several others. Our outreach ministry for this particular project has brought warmth and sunshine to many people in our community. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity as we share with others. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you, Barbie. Our next outreach program that we're going to talk about is the New Journey Community Outreach Soup Kitchen. And we have a lot of volunteers, a lot of people put time and energies into making barbecue, putting the foods together. This year they had quite a different experience. And I'm hoping that Biss will tell us about our outreach in the soup kitchen.
Wyomissing Church has been supporting the New Journey Soup Kitchen for approximately 15 years. An indication of how long we have been providing this support is their records show us as Reading First Church of the Brethren. This year we were scheduled to be recognized for our long-term support at their annual fundraising breakfast on Tuesday, March 17th. We're scheduled to provide a meal on the third Monday of every other month. Our standard meal is barbecue sandwich, applesauce, potato chips, cut vegetables, and cookies. According to the center's staff, our lunch is popular and well received. Monday, March 16th, was our scheduled day to serve. It ran right into COVID-19. Our serving team responded by packing 180 to-go lunch bags, including a barbecue sandwich in a plastic container, as meals could no longer be served in the center. As the spring progressed, New Journey's lunch count went to 200, then 250, up to 300 lunches daily. We identified this to the congregation and asked, instead of food donations, that individuals provide monetary donations to support our lunch program on June 18th. Okay, I think I'm coming through. Your support allowed for the purchase of 30 pounds of ham, 30 pounds of cheese, 38 loaves of bread, 13 cases of water, plus applesauce, potato chips, cookies, and vegetable packets to assemble 300 lunches and deliver them to New Journey on the morning of June 18th. Thank you to everyone that worked to make this effort possible. One lesson learned is if you have 300 empty bags lined up on a table and you're placing water bottles in the bags, they will behave as dominoes. We will let you know what our plans will be for July 20th, our next day to serve.
Thank you, Dan. Quite a few sandwiches that were made. Reaching out to our local community, reaching out to one another within our church family, and to those that are alone. We have CCC making prayer shawls. And Verna Hartman is one of the women involved with this project and will share a little bit of her story. Wearing a prayer shawl
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm so pleased to have been a part of CCC before it was actually CCC. I started with the quilting in the old church, and gradually it evolved into making smaller items for the bazaars and so forth that we had always scheduled. So now I'd like to tell you about the prayer shawls that we've been making over the years. About 10 years ago, some of the ladies in CCC heard that other churches were making prayer shawls for their sick and shut-in members. We thought it was a great way to show our love and caring and thoughtfulness to those who are sick or in pain from some other reason. Maybe the recent loss of a loved one. So we got out our crochet hooks and knitting needles, and our own prayer shawl ministry was born. So far, Margaret Hildebrand, Dorothy Smith, Barb Hill, Eleonora Smythe, and myself have made about 40 or 50 shawls and lap robes. Karen Redner makes embroidered labels with our church name, which we sew into the prayer shawls and lap robes before we give them to the people. We so enjoy giving them because everyone seems to be so appreciative to receive them, providing comfort, warmth, caring, and our love. The look on their faces tells all. The shawls and lap robes are located in the CCC room, so just check with a CCC member or Barbie who keeps a list of those who have received one so that we don't duplicate the giving. And they're available to be given to anyone you know, a neighbor or a co-worker. It doesn't have to be someone from our church family who might like to receive one. And last but not least, we have patterns available, and many hands make short work of all this production. They are simple, and if you'd like to help us make these shawls, just please ask us for a pattern. We will help you with them. Just let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Verna. And I know personally, one of the ladies that Darlene and I went to visit, Betty Powell, was thrilled when we gave her one of the prayer shawls. She immediately perked up, was just so happy to receive it. Next, our next presenter is Mary Jo Noble, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about Western Berks Shepherding Ministries.
Sorry, I had to unmute. The main function of Western Berks Shepherding Ministries is to coordinate transporting elderly people to doctor appointments, therapy, or testing. Elderly people needing assistance are evaluated before entering the program. Volunteers providing the transportation are given training and insured by the program. They are called upon once a month to provide the service. A transport usually takes about 2 hours. The area covered is the Wilson, Conner-Weiser, and Tulpahawken school districts. It's always nice to help an elderly person, and when we get back from the transport, I always get a hug because of helping them. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Something there for every one of us to help with. Our next presenter is Don Robinson, and Don does counseling within our community, within the community at Brethren Village, and we asked him to share with us a little bit of what he does as far as his outreach.
Don, you have to unmute.
Yep, I did it. Okay. Okay. Before I talk about the counseling, I want to reminisce a little bit and tell you how our church has been involved in the community for many, many years. Back in 1964, when our church added 14 classrooms and 3 offices to its existing building, the church decided it wanted to do more for the community because it wanted the church to be used on a daily basis rather than just on evenings or weekends. And so we invited over 20 different groups to come and meet in the church. And some of them still meet in our church today, like the AA and so forth. But we had a variety of groups from the community come in and meet. The other thing we decided to do was we decided to be involved in education. And so we investigated 3 or 4 different kinds of preschools and eventually started the Montessori school, which is still in existence today with almost 200 students. And that was started in our school. We hired the original teachers, hired the board, and selected the board of directors, and maintained that school for many, many years. We also were very instrumental in other community activities. We founded the Lodge, which was a halfway house for people being released from Weathersville State Hospital. And the first meetings were held in our church, and we organized the board of directors for that. We also started a group called Parents Without Partners with the help of the community, which eventually grew to over 300 members of Parents Without Partners, and they met in our church on a regular basis. We also were instrumental in starting the Keystone Blood Bank, which very few people knew about because we had a step in that. And another thing we did, we started Meals on Wheels. The original plan was to have Meals on Wheels make our food in the basement of our church and our kitchen. We soon discovered that that was very improbable, and so we joined with Red Cross and several other community organizations to start Meals on Wheels. So our church has been involved in many, many activities in the community. We trained over 300 visitors for a suicide prevention center, a 24-hour suicide prevention center, and those visitors were all trained in our church, and many of our people were participating as leaders in that program. The community counseling, I probably spent about 3/4 of my time counseling people from the community and who had marriage and family problems, and it became known in the community that we were available, and so people would come. And my work through Family Guidance Center also brought in some counseling. So we've ministered to the community throughout the years in many, many ways, and we have a lot to be thankful for, and we continue to do it, and I'm real proud of the way our church does it today.
Thank you, Don. We have been reaching out over the years. The next item on our agenda, and we'll find out more about Family Promise, how it's going to be with the next set of families that we'll be serving. And Diane Zimmerman is going to give us an update and share a little bit with you as far as Family Promise, what the program is, and how our church volunteers. Diane?
Good morning. Family Promise started in July of 2006 and partners with local communities and networks of volunteers to provide services to homeless families, youth, and individuals facing a housing crisis. Their current programs focus on rehousing, homelessness prevention, mediation, advocacy, and emergency assistance. Their unique model recognizes that maintaining family units increases successful outcomes. And this allows for couples and single parent households to remain with their children while being sheltered. Wyomissing Church of the Brethren hosts families at our church 2 weeks out of the year. The families stay at our church, and volunteers spend time with the families while providing meals and staying overnight, helping the kids with their homework, and playing games, basketball, all kinds of stuff while they're at our church. At this time, our host week was to be the week of June 16th, and as you heard Jan say in the beginning of the service, they won't be staying with us that week. They've been sheltering at the center during the pandemic. So, but they are asking for food for that week. So if you can help with a monetary donation, or if you'd like to provide a meal, You can contact me. I'll be delivering groceries, and I can also deliver meals. I can pick up at the church, but we can make those arrangements because they're kind of on my way home from work. I can drop them off on my way home from work if we have meals to deliver. So you can let me know if you can help. That would be great. Our next hosting week is scheduled for November 29th. It's the week after Thanksgiving. So hopefully we'll kind of be back to normal by then. I'd like to thank all of our volunteers over the past years. I don't know how many years we've been doing Family Promise. Carl and Linda could probably tell us real quick, but I want to thank everybody for helping, and let me know if you can help on the week of June 14th. Thanks.
Thank you, Diane. As we can all see with these presenters today, how we as the Wyomissing Church of the Brethren have reached out. We reach out with our hands, with our hearts, with our lives, and share our time with those in need. Thank you all. Oh, can I real quick thank the Black family for their hands. They did their hands. I called Karina, I said, we have an idea as far as hands. Could you and your family do a drawing for us? And this is from the Black family.